What's up, guys? Welcome to March 4th as we dive into Numbers chapter 16. One day, Korah, son of Izhar, a descendant of Kohath, son of Levi, conspired with Danath and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, and On, son of Peleth, from the tribe of Reuben. They incited a rebellion against Moses along with 250 other leaders of the community, all prominent members of the assembly. They united against Moses and Aaron and said, "You have gone too far. The whole community of Israel has been set apart by the Lord, and He is with us He is with all of us. What right do you have to act as though you are greater than the rest of the Lord's people?" When Moses heard what they were saying, he fell face down on the ground. Then he said to Korah and his followers, "Tomorrow morning the Lord will show us who belongs to Him and who is holy. The Lord will allow only these whom He selects to enter His own presence. Korah, you and all your followers must prepare your incense burners. Light fires in them tomorrow and burn incense before the Lord. Then we will see whom the Lord chooses as His holy one. You Levites are the ones who have gone too far." Then Moses spoke again to Korah. "Now listen, you Levites, does it seem insignificant to you that the Lord of Israel has chosen you from among all the community of Israel to be near Him so you can serve in the Lord's tabernacle and stand before the people to minister to them? Korah, He has already given this special ministry to you and your fellow Levites. Are you now demanding the priesthood as well? The Lord is the one you and your followers are really revoking against. For who is Aaron that you are complaining about him?" Then Moses summoned Danath and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, but they replied, "We refuse to come before you. Isn't it enough that you brought us out of Egypt, a land flowing with milk and honey, to kill us here in this wilderness, and that you now treat us like your subjects? What's more, you haven't brought us into another land flowing with milk and honey. You haven't given us a new homeland with fields and vineyards. Are you trying to fool these men? We will not come." Then Moses became very angry and said to the Lord, "Do not accept their grain offerings. I have not taken so much as a donkey from them, and I have never hurted a single one of them." And Moses said to Korah, "You and all your followers must come here tomorrow and present yourself before the Lord. Aaron will also be here. You and each of your 250 followers must prepare an incense burner and put incense on it, so you can all present them before the Lord. Aaron will also bring his incense burner." So each of these men prepared as incense burner, lit the fire and placed incense on it. Then they all stood at the entrance of the tabernacle with Moses and Aaron. Meanwhile, Korah had stirred up the entire community against Moses and Aaron, and they all gathered at the tabernacle entrance. Then the glorious presence of the Lord appeared to the whole community, and the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "Get away from all these people, so I may instantly destroy them all." But Moses and Aaron fell down on the ground. "Oh God," they pleaded, "you are the God who gives birth to all creatures. Must you be angry with all the people when only one man sins?" And the Lord said to Moses, "Then tell all the people to get away from the tents of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram." So Moses got up and rushed over to the tents of Danath and Abiram, followed by the elders of Israel. "Quick," he told the people, "get away from the tents of these wicked men and don't touch anything that belongs to them. If you do, you will be destroyed for their sins." So all the people stood back from the tents of Korah, Danath, Dathan, Abiram, then Dathan, and Abiram came out and stood out in front stood at the entrance of their tents together with their wives and children and little ones. And Moses said, "This is how you will know that the Lord has sent me to do all these things that I have done, for I have not done them on my own. If these men died a natural death, or if nothing unusual happens, then the Lord has not sent me. But if the Lord does something entirely new, and the ground opens its mouth and swallows them and all their belongings, and they go down alive into the grave, then you will know that these men have shown contempt for the Lord." He had hardly finished speaking the words when the ground suddenly split open beneath them. The earth opened its mouth and swallowed the men along with their households and all their followers who were standing around them and everything they owned. So they went down alive into the grave, along with their belongings. The earth closed over them, and they all vanished from among the people of Israel. All the people around them fled when they heard their screams. "The earth will swallow us too," they cried. Then fire blazed forth from the Lord and burned up the 250 men who were offering incense. And the Lord said to Moses, "Tell Eleazar, son of Aaron the priest, to pull all the incense burners from the fire, for they are holy. Also tell him to scatter the burning coals. Take the incense burners of these men who have sinned at the cost of their lives, and hammer the metal into thin sheets to overlay the altar. Since these burners were used in the Lord's presence, they have become holy. Let them serve as a warning to the people of Israel." So Eleazar the priest collected the 250 bronze incense burners that had been used by the men who died in the fire, and the bronze was hammered into a thin sheet to overlay the altar. This will warn the Israelites that no unauthorized person, no one who was not a descendant of Aaron, should ever enter the Lord's presence to burn incense. If anyone did, the same thing would happen to him as happened to Korah and his followers. So the Lord's instructions to Moses were carried out. But the very next morning, the whole community of Israel began muttering against Moses and Aaron, saying, "You have killed the Lord's people." All as the community gathered to protest against Moses and Aaron, they turned toward the tabernacle and saw that the cloud had covered it, and the glorious presence of the Lord appeared. Moses and Aaron came and stood in front of the tabernacle, and the Lord said to Moses, "Get away from all these people so that I can instantly destroy them." But Moses and Aaron fell face down on the ground, and Moses and Aaron said to Aaron, "Quick, take an incense burner and place burning coal on it from the altar. Lay incense on it and carry it out among the people of Israel, or among the people, to purify them and make them right with the Lord. The Lord's anger is blazing against them. The plague has already begun." Aaron did as Moses told him and ran out among the people. The plague had already begun to strike down the people, but Aaron burned the incense and purified the people. He stood between the dead and the living, and the plague stopped. But 14,700 people died in that plague, and in addition to those who had died in the affair involving Korah. Then because the plague had stopped, Aaron returned to Moses at the entrance of the tabernacle. Chapter 17. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Tell the people of Israel to bring you 12 wooden staffs, one from each leader of Israel's ancestral tribes, and inscribe each leader's name on his staff. Inscribe Aaron's name on the staff of the tribe of Levi, for there must be one staff for the leader of each ancestral tribe. Place these staffs in the tabernacle in front of the ark containing the tablets of the covenant where I meet with you. Buds will sprout on the staff belonging to the man I choose. Then I will finally put an end to the people's murmuring and complaining against you." So Moses gave the instructions to the people of Israel, and each of the 12 tribal leaders, including Aaron, brought Moses a staff. Moses placed the staff in the Lord's presence in the tabernacle of the covenant. When he went into the tabernacle of the covenant the next day, he found that Aaron's staff, representing the tribe of Levi, had sprouted, budded, blossomed, and produced ripe almonds. When Moses brought all the staffs out from the Lord's presence, he showed them to the people. Each man claimed his own staff, and the Lord said to Moses, "Place Aaron's staff permanently before the Ark of the Covenant to serve as a warning to rebels. This should be put an end to their complaints against me and prevent any further deaths." So Moses did as the Lord commanded them. Then the people of Israel said to Moses, "Look, we are doomed, we are dead, we are ruined. Everyone who even comes close to the tabernacle of the Lord dies. Are we all doomed to die?" Chapter 18. Then the Lord said to Aaron, "You and your sons and your relatives from the tribe of Levi will be held responsible for any offenses related to the sanctuary. But you and your sons alone will be held responsible for violations connected with the priesthood. Bring your relatives of the tribe of Levi, your ancestral tribe, to assist you in your sons as you perform the sacred duties in front of the tabernacle of the covenant. But as the Levites go about all their assigned duties at the tabernacle, they must be careful not to go near any of the sacred objects or the altar. If they do, both you and they will die. The Levites must join you in fulfilling their responsibilities for the care and maintenance of the tabernacle, but no unauthorized person may assist you. You yourself must perform the sacred duties inside the sanctuary and at the altar. If you follow these instructions, the Lord's anger will never again blaze against the people of Israel. I myself have chosen you, your fellow Levites from among the Israelites, to be your special assistants. They are a gift to you, dedicated to the Lord for service in the tabernacle. But you and your sons, the priests, must personally handle all the priestly rituals associated with the altar and with everything behind the inner curtains. I am giving you the priesthood as your special privilege of service. Any unauthorized person who comes too near the sanctuary will be put to death. Then the Lord gave these instructions to Aaron. I myself have put you in charge of the holy offerings that are brought to me by the people of Israel. I have given all these consecrated offerings to you and your sons as your permanent share. You are allotted the portion of the most holy offerings that is not burnt on the fire. This portion of all the most holy offerings, including the grain offerings, sin offerings, and guilt offerings, will be most holy, and it belongs to you and your sons. You must eat it as a most holy offering. All the males may eat of it, and you must treat it as most holy. All the sacred offerings and special offerings presented to me when the Israelites lift them up before the altar also belong to you. I have given them to you and to your sons and daughters as your permanent share. Any member of your family who is ceremonially clean may eat any of these offerings. I also give you the harvest gifts brought by the people as offerings to the Lord, the best of the olive oil, new wine, and grain. All the firstborns of their land that the people represent to the Lord belong to you. Any member of your family who is ceremonially clean may eat this food. Everything in Israel that is specially set apart for the Lord also belongs to you. The firstborn of every mother, whether human or animal, that is offered to the Lord will be yours. But you must always redeem your firstborn sons and the firstborn of ceremonially unclean animals. Redeem them when they are only a month old. The redemption price is 5 pieces of silver as measured by the weight of the sanctuary shekel, which equals 20 gerahs. However, you may not redeem the firstborn of cattle, sheep, and goats. They are holy and have been set apart for the Lord. Sprinkle their blood on the altar and burn their fat as a special gift and a pleasing aroma to the Lord. The meat of these animals will be yours, just like the breast and right thigh that are presented by lifting them up as a special offering that before the altar. Yes, I am giving you all these holy offerings that the people of Israel bring to the Lord. They are for you and your sons and daughters to be in as your permanent share. This is an eternal and unbreakable covenant between the Lord and you, and it also applies to your descendants. And the Lord said to Aaron, You priest will receive no allotment of land or share of property among the people of Israel. I am your share and your allotment. As a tribe of Levi, your relatives, I will compensate them for their service in the tabernacle instead of an allotment of land. I will give them the tithes from the entire land of Israel. From now on, no Israelites except priests or Levites may approach the tabernacle. If they come too near, they will be judged guilty and will die. Only the Levites may serve at the tabernacle, and they will be held responsible for any offenses against it. This is a permanent law for you to be observed from generations to generation. The Levites will receive no allotment of land among the Israelites, because I have given them the Israelites tithes, which would have been presented as sacred offerings to the Lord. This will be the Levites' share. This is why I said that they would receive no allotment of land among the Israelites. The Lord also told Moses, Give these instructions to the Levites. When you receive from the people of Israel the tithes I have assigned as your allotment, give a tenth of the tithe you receive, a tithe of the tithe to the Lord as a sacred offering. The Lord will consider this offering to be your harvest offering, as though it were be the first grain from your own threshing floor, or wine from your own winepress. You must present 1/10 of the tithe received from the Israelites as a sacred offering to the Lord. This is the Lord's sacred portion, and you must present it to Aaron the priest. Be sure to give to the Lord the best portions of the gifts given to you. Also give these instructions to the Levites. When you present the best part as your offering, it will be consoled as though it came from your own threshing floor or wine press. You Levites in your families may eat this food anywhere you wish, for it is your compensation for serving in the tabernacle. You will not be considered guilty for accepting the Lord's tithes if you give the best portion to the priest. But be careful not to treat the holy gifts of the people living in Israel as though they were common. If you do, you will die. And so that's the end for today. We kind of just went back to the whole loss again, but early on today's reading, where Korah and his followers were complaining to again, this is kind of a theme throughout the whole book of Numbers, is the Israelites. They just, I wouldn't say they enjoy complaining, but they do complain a lot. And so the part that stood out to me is when Korah described the part that stood out to me the most about it is when just trying to find where it was. Hold on. When they were describing the Egypt as in verses 13 of chapter 14 or of chapter 16, Numbers chapter 16 verses 13, where it says, isn't it enough that you brought us out of Egypt, a land flowing with milk and honey, to kill us here in the wilderness, that you now treat us like your subjects? And like with that, it's like Egypt was not a land where it's filled with honey. It's not filled with milk. And so like when you start think like when you're so focused on your current sufferings that you think that in your past, the things that happened to you in the past, they are much better. And so you want to desire to have what was in the back, like what happened in the past too. Thinking that if you were back then, you would have been better. It's like, no, you would not have been. Like these Israelites, they would have been they've been still being enslaved if it weren't for God to come rescue them. And so I think it's really tempting for us all to like, when we focus on our own current sufferings, it's like where we start to desire for the things that happened in the past that's unhealthy for us. Like saying, oh my gosh, if we only had that thing in the past, if I only have these friends, if I were still friends with these people, I would have been in a much better place. It's like, no, I don't think it would be. I mean, it may be, but I highly doubt that. Like, there's a reason for why you are out of that place. And so why would you want to go back into where you came from? A place where you are mistreated, a place where you are dehumanized, a place where you are abused. It's like, why would you want to go back there? Yes, it's like, even though your current situation sucks, we have to like pull through these current situations. We have to pull through hardships before we can receive the reward of being faithful to God. I don't think God never promises us to say like, oh, I'm gonna pull you out of this bad situation into this whole new beautiful place. I don't think he ever promises that. He never said that. So like whenever we face trials after trials, we can't blame God, because God never promised us that, oh, David, if you just hold on just a little bit longer, you'll be able to pull, then I will be able to bless you through, because you have gone through something that's hard. I mean, God could do that if he wanted to, but it's like, the part I really want you guys to focus on is that God never promised us that. Just because we're facing trials right now, it does not mean that we are going to face reward. We're gonna face peace again in the future, like the next time. It's like the good thing that happens to our life, it's like rare these days. I mean, rare in a sense where like everything in this world seems to be all against God. And so if God is trying to reward us, it may take us a while, but we just have to be patient until that comes. I guess no matter how like painful it may seem and stuff. And so yeah, other than that, I don't have anything else to share. Yeah, like I said today, there wasn't like a whole lot to get out of. It's just a bunch of rules still. So may you guys go and walk with God today.